Hello everybody out there on YouTube, this is your man Shadicstick, and I'm here with my friend Vengefulwilberg. Say what's up, my neighbor.
What is good, bros and bras? And yes, this is your boy Vengefulwilberg here, and thanks for having me, Shadic. So whenever you're ready, let's get it.
Alright, this video's topic, as stated by the title, is what to expect from Final Fantasy 15. Now we're going to be going over the story briefly, but we're gonna go talking more about the gameplay and the world. Alright, so basically the story is about this prince who's, you know, and his kingdom is gonna be like taken over by another kingdom. That's the gist of the story. The story is basically the progression from a prince to a king, and you know, the character development of each character, which plays a vital role in the story. Now, the main character is Noctis, and that's all I really need to explain for the story. That's what you need to expect, because things are changing every week and getting tagged on, and I don't want to spoil myself with the story and know the full story by the time the game comes out, you know?
Yeah, fair enough.
But let's get down to the gameplay. Now, the gameplay is going to be seamless, and, you know, since the game is quote-unquote open world, this is an extremely interesting, extremely interesting concept, because it's gonna have that GTA kind of feel, where you can, at any time and moment, you can get into a fight, basically. How do you feel about it, Vengeful?
Actually, I actually like that idea. I mean, I'm kind of like old school when it comes to RPGs and whatnot, but depending on what they're planning to do, I'm okay with it, because just by looking at some of the gameplay I've seen, as far as how they put the whole open world together and fused it with the gameplay, it seems to flow together really well, because there was some mechanics that we'll discuss shortly that really got me interested in what they were doing, because it had more of a realistic feel. And on top of that, it's something new and fresh. And I actually like the idea. It just flows well, actually.
Yeah, because Tabata explained that he wanted the game to be more realistic and cater to both Western RPGs of the action-based fans, and more, let's say, Japanese type of RPGs with the level grinding stuff. Like you said, you're old school, so you like more of the old school Japanese RPGs. Same with me, but at the same time I like the Western stuff with the action-based combat. And I feel since this open world is going to be seamless and the combat's going to be seamless, that opens up so many possibilities for gameplay styles. You know, you could probably avoid the enemy. You could play stealthily and kill one enemy at a time, or you could take them all on at once and go in like a berserker. You know, and we have things such as the warp dodge. You know, this warp dodge, you can use it in so many ways. It's like, you could use it to get out of a fight you feel like you're about to lose. You can use it to body people, come up onto the top of a tower or something, and then strike all the way from below. You know, this is something I really like, and you know, I feel essential to the combat. How about you, Vincent?
I agree, because the thing is, like, when you're fighting against something like a behemoth, I mean, I see the warp as something extremely useful. And when I watched demo gameplay, it seemed to work really well, because especially with the gameplay mechanic where they say that bigger the character, I mean, like, the bigger the monster is, the bigger the blast radius. So when you need to get the hell out, that warp would be extremely helpful for that. So that's just one of many ways you can strategically get in the battle. I mean, like, the thing about traditional RPGs, even though I really love turn-based and things of that nature, it does seem kind of silly where you have this huge attack and you're literally just waiting for it to hit you, and you're just hoping it misses.
Exactly. I mean, like, I can move out the way rather than get missed. So, like,
exactly.
They get hit because, oh my lord, there's so many situations when I run into that. Pokemon. You know, Like, I don't want to get hit by some freaking massive attack and then just like be like, all right, gotta wait again to get hit by this. Because like, you know, they Tabata said himself, you know, if you're fighting an enemy, like say for instance you're fighting a giant summon or whatever that you're trying to obtain or whatever, you could, if you're going in attacking it head on, they're gonna read your moves. You know what I'm saying? Instead, it makes you, the game is gonna make you think, so you know I should go flank to the side or something like that. That's this concept is blowing my mind right now. Not the more I think about it. Like, I haven't seen a RPG do anything on this scale. You know. All right, so now we're gonna talk about combo linking and chaining. Basically this is where you get your teammate or whatever, and you basically link your combos and your moves together, and it causes a stronger combo to happen with a finisher, I believe. I forgot, I haven't done it any on this guy or whatever. I did it like once. You know, so you know, I can't really say anything for it. I've seen other people do it. I didn't understand like what they were doing. I was just like, oh, look at that, that's pretty.
Oh.
But it's like the one time I did it, it did help. So you know, it's better than like what happened in Kingdom Hearts, because I was just smashing triangle and X in Kingdom Hearts. I didn't even know what was happening. At least in this guy, it took it takes timing, and it boosted like the strength of your attacks, and everything just looked pretty. So I was just like, you know, this is just a bonus. How do you feel about it, Vengeful?
Oh, that's pretty damn dope. Because I mean, now that I think about it, because I remember, you know, reading up on it and hearing about that, and I like the idea that you mentioned about the timing as well, that I guess like once you get the timing down, it becomes easier, because they said they wanted to make this game feel less button mashy. And then on top of that, the thing that got me really intrigued by their method when it comes to this game, because they mentioned that they wanted to set it up where in this game that you're not really going to switch from character to character, and you're stuck with Noctis. And the reason why they stuck with Noctis is because, like, if they tried to do all this other stuff, they wouldn't have been able to implement the gameplay mechanics that they wanted to work with. So, because the chaining, the link chain that you're talking about, that wouldn't even be a thing because of that. Because obviously they're putting so much into this game, and I can understand why they did that in order to incorporate this one thing. Because it's a really cool mechanic. What if they do this, since it's more control? What if they have different kinds of setups in order to even go further with the, you know, the link chain combo system that they got going?
Yeah, exactly. It increases the need for skill and to play the game. It's like you said, it makes it less button mashy. Games like, even though Kingdom Hearts, you know, it is a game that takes skill, the game is pretty button mashy in itself. You know, I don't have to time my button, like any kind of button presses and any combos or anything to get anything right. I just kind of gotta mash X's out as fast as I can to get the hits in, you know, or like other games like in this genre, you know. And we're gonna move on next to the open world. And when I mean the open world, I'm just talking about like the world in itself. We've done talking about the gameplay essentially, you know. That's all I had to really say about it. You want to say anything more?
I think that might be about it for now.
Yeah, the only thing I have to say is expect summons. They're arcades. That's all. you basically fight them. The bigger in size, the bigger in rank. The smaller in size, the smaller in rank. That's the gist of them.
I do got a quick question though, now that I think about it, in regards to gameplay, because this is a potential issue. You know how the AI can sometimes be a threat and sometimes they're not a threat at all, and you could just wail on them easily. Do you think like they will respond quicker depending on the level of their own strength?
From what I played in the demo, it seems like different AI Like, say for instance, you have a monster versus like an Imperial Guard or whatever. The Imperial Guard, like, it first off, you can attack them stealthily. Like, they cannot notice you at all as long as you're not in their line of sight. Second, it appears like it depends on if they're a pack or if they're alone, or how, like you said, how strong they are, because the Imperial Guards or whatever will just come in and try to wail on you, while like the monsters will just either ignore you, and because they do that, because they will just initially ignore you, they don't really do anything until you move really close. It's like they work on like real life principles. Like, the monsters won't do anything unless they feel threatened. You got these guard guys who are just like, I'm gonna kill you. We don't like you, so we're just gonna kill you. That's basically what I saw. So, you know, I can't. That's the best answer I can give.
All right, it works for me. It works.
So let's move on to the world. Now, the world, like we said, is seamless. It is seamless. If you go into a building, there's no transition. There's no loading screen. Nothing. You move into a new country or area or whatever, no loading screen. You can drive cars or whatever, like it's freaking GTA. This game is basically GTA meets Kingdom Hearts. Like, that's what it really is.
I can see that.
But like I said, like, the game is seamless, and you know, we're gonna get a little bit with the gameplay here. The warping, from what we have heard recently, you'll be able to warp up buildings. Now, because of this, I don't know how much exploration we are gonna get out of this game, because I am scared of how massive this game is. Because they said the game is so big that, like, these cities are like real life cities. You can get lost in them if you're not watching where you're going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not everything is the same. Not all these corners and stuff are the same, or they could all look similar on one street. The next street, they all look completely different. You know, this is just a massive game. Like, this is the definition of open world from what we have heard. You know, the developers were playing it and they were just like, yeah, you actually got to keep track of where you are. You know, you got to keep track of where you are in the world. You know, if you don't, you're gonna get lost, or, you know. But they do have, you know, objectives to keep players on the, you know, right on track, you know. So, like, say for instance, you could just switch to an objective so you at least know where to go next, which is like a linear aspect of the game, you know, because I don't want to be lost. I really don't like being I like being lost to a degree. I don't like knowing directly what to do all the time, but I also I don't want to be completely lost where it's just like I don't ever know what to do.
Right.
I can't figure it out. So how do you feel, Benjamin?
Well, yeah, I actually like that idea, because one of the thing about RPGs is, especially when it comes to RPG enthusiasts, they take the whole idea about open world and linearity very, very seriously. Like, if the game is too linear, they're already like close to just hating it. I mean, because look at Final Fantasy 13. Like, that game was extremely linear.
Yeah, you didn't get to the open world portion of the game until over halfway into the game, and then still after that it became linear again.
Yeah, because like majority of those missions was more like, kill this, go kill this thing, give this to person A, and then after you do this, the other mission may say deliver this to person C, and you're like, what? You telling me this is just like Link, where everyone's telling you, oh, do me this favor and you get this, and that's it, and you're like, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if this game is too open world, we're screwed. If this game is too linear, we're screwed. You know, I really hope they strike that balance, because if they strike that balance, this game is going to be perfect. I believe this game could be perfection. I also believe this game can be the worst game ever created by Square-Enix. You know, they could have wasted their time in 2006 even pitching the idea.
Yeah, that's kind of scary now that you think about it. Because think of all the times they delayed this game or they'd hype people up just to find out that, they're not getting any more information than that, and everyone's sitting there waiting for yet another year. One of the things that did strike me though was when they was talking about the whole idea of part of the game could potentially be linear while the rest of it isn't, and that balance, like you said, is going to be very important because we all saw throughout gameplay and things of that nature that there are some parts of the game that feels relatively linear, but from the looks of it, that's only those parts when you trigger an event, and it's like that more action heavy part that's linear.
Yeah.
But then once that action heavy part is over, then they're right back to open world. So as long as they keep that kind of balance where, okay, you're put in a situation where it's linear and is reasonably linear, not just linear to be linear, like Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, exactly. Now, before we end, I wanted to say thank you, Vengeful, for being on. Since we're coming to the end of this, I wanted to say thank you guys. We have reached 400 subscribers. Let's get to 500. Now, I want you to check my boy Vengeful out. I've known Vengeful for a while, long time, man. He's one of my longtime homeboys on the YouTubes, internets, whatever. So, go check out his channel and his Twitter. Follow him on Twitter, and he streams on Twitch. Also, I'll have all that down in the description. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. And Vengeful, you got any last words to say?
Yeah, sure. First off, I'd just like to thank you for inviting me, because I don't think I ever really done a vid with you before on your channel. And I just like to just thank you again for inviting me to do this type of discussion, because I haven't done a discussion with anybody on Final Fantasy before, so it was fun for me. And just to let your viewers know, real soon, I'm definitely gonna do some collabs on my channel with this man as well, because he is a good friend. And hey, I also hope that this game turns out to be enjoyable for me, Shaddick, and everyone. And thanks for viewing it, and have an awesome day.
Well, that was it. You've heard Vengeful. Have a good one. Peace.
Peace.